And hello, and welcome to the Criterion Connection. I'm Wade.
And I'm Joe.
And as you see, it's a festive season, and it is fan suggestion
Don't look now.
month. Oh. It's a fan suggestion month.
Yep.
And it's also Nicholas Rogue passed away.
Recently.
So we decided we're going to do something here. And also, you guys, a long time ago, I don't have the list of who suggested it, but a long time, we had two comments from like even back to April for to do Don't Look Now. So we're going to do Don't Look Now. And stars Donald Sutherland and
Julia Christie.
Julia Christie, okay. And that's pretty much it. I mean, you have the two sisters and
there's
the daughter.
There's other people in it, but it revolves around Donald Sutherland and Julia Christie.
It's kind of funny because we watched Antichrist a couple months ago, and it has a similar kind of idea to it. Not as much butt in this one. Not enough private part mutilations in this one. Not mutilations. You know what I mean.
There's no grinding wheels either.
There's no grinding wheels in this one. This one's a little more into the psychological and less weird, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of it's a thriller, a horror thriller, but also it's like kind of like a drama.
It's a supernatural, psychological thriller.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that would be what you would call it.
Yeah, like it's not too heavy-handed on the horror.
No.
But the lighting of things is kind of horror.
Well, it's a unique location. You don't see Venice used very often.
Yeah.
And the fact that a lot of the events in the movie revolve around this serial killer in Venice, which is horrifying.
Yeah.
Because you see how empty the alleys are at night, and that is incredibly frightening.
Yeah.
Because bodies are just coming up out of the canals.
Yeah.
And it's just.
Makes you not want to go to Venice.
It gives you a really foreboding presence.
Yes.
And I think Venice was the place to shoot for this movie.
Oh yeah. And, you're also dealing with Donald Sutherland being fantastic, as always he is. Yeah,
this is fairly early in his career. He's breaking into being a leading man at this point.
Yeah, and, everyone in this movie plays their part. The idea of grief kind of tearing this couple who seem pretty healthy.
Yeah.
And it just tears them to shreds.
I mean, it doesn't... I think that's overdoing it. I don't think it does that necessarily. Like, they're still a very strong couple.
I meant like it puts them to the test, I guess.
Yeah, it's something that informs a lot of the actions that they take in the movie, but it's never heavy-handed.
Yeah.
It's never like he lashes out or she lashes out at him. Like, there's these small moments where, like, maybe they get agitated with one another, but it's never enough to really, like, tear them to pieces, as you were saying. It just kind of... It's there, and they're trying to deal with it as best they can.
Yeah.
In their own respective ways.
And then you have this whole idea of... like not a cult, but you know what I mean, like supernatural thing.
Clairvoyance.
That's the word I'm looking for. That she believes it, and he's like, I don't believe it. But then he starts seeing visions of a little girl in a red coat, which is what his daughter wore when she died. And boy,
we should get into this. So the very beginning of the film is him and his wife are looking at slides about, and you find out that he restores old churches.
Yeah.
And temples, I guess. And
how much that pays? I don't know.
Well enough. That was a nice piece of land and a house.
Oh yeah.
And then not only that, they get to go to Venice and hang out there and all kinds of stuff. So while they're looking at slides and everything, his kids are playing outside. The boy's riding a bike, and the daughter is playing with a ball in a very odd manner, but she does. And then she ends up drowning in the creek, pond on their land, and this movie kind of is and isn't about how they deal with it.
Yeah.
It takes an interesting turn towards the end.
Oh yeah, it probably has one of the most interesting horror endings.
Oh yeah.
Like that, I did not see that coming. Because I mean, should we get into spoilers on that, or should we just leave it?
We'll wait on the spoilers.
Okay.
We can talk about more stuff. Like
okay.
we talk about how Venice as a setting is great.
Yeah.
The performances of the actors, it's fantastic.
Yes.
Donald Sutherland, Julia Christie, they do great in this film. There's not a weak link between them.
They
have really great chemistry.
They feel like a genuine couple.
Yeah. And the way they interact is very. It's like what you wish a couple, like in a realistic setting, would be like.
Yeah.
It's not like super lovey-dovey, not over the top, but it's just they actually love each other and they're a united front.
Yes.
As a couple.
Yes.
And that's like they're very supportive of one another, and until it gets to the point where we're dealing with that daughter's death, and at a restaurant she meets two women. One of them is a clairvoyant, and basically a clairvoyant says, "I saw your daughter," and she's blind, by the way.
Yeah.
So I saw your daughter with you two, and she's happy. She's laughing. And I think that gives the wife such a sense of relief. And just, it helps eases her pain a little bit. And as much as she wants to reach out and talk to her, which is evidenced by the seance that they were going to do, I think she's just comforted knowing that her daughter is happy and not suffering.
Yeah.
Whereas Donald Sutherland's character, he just wants to put it behind him. And it's not like he wants to forget about his daughter. It's not like he doesn't love her. It's just, it's so painful for him that he doesn't, he wants it to be final. He's like, no, she's dead. She's not around anymore. It's over. And he's worried about his wife's mental health as they bring out with the pills. It's very subtle. And he's like, no, she's
very
dead.
Subtle.
Huh?
Subtle.
So he just wants to make sure that his wife's okay, and he wants it kind of to be done and over with, not like
he wants to move on. She wants to dwell on it.
Yeah, and in her way, he doesn't see that it's actually helping her, rather than hurting, damaging her mind like it had been apparently.
Yeah.
And then we can get into the spoilers.
Yeah. So, spoilers right here. In 3, 2, 1. You kind of forget about the whole serial killer thing for a little bit. Near the end,
it comes up a lot.
Yeah, it's like
it's more than the rules of 3.
Yeah, it's like a looming presence. It's not. It's in the background. Mm-hmm. It's not because clearly focused.
Yeah, it's not like he opens the newspaper and then you see a shot of serial killer rampages in Venice.
It's so
it's more like he goes on a walk with the bishop and there's a boat pulling up a body.
Yeah.
Or there's people locking their doors at night or looking out and being really cautious.
And you're thinking it's a kind of like a metaphor because, death is looming everywhere and everything. Their lives are full of death. Nope, there's an actual serial killer and it ties really into the end, which by then, because it culminate, and you're like, what is going on? And you know that's in the back of your mind's gone. But then the little girl turns around.
Yeah,
and you're
so what ends up happening is Donald Sutherland's character keeps seeing a girl in a red coat, which is used incredibly well in this movie. Nicholas Roeg has a great sense of color.
Making it red makes
where you have kind of the gray earth tones of Venice and the canals and their clothes because they wear a lot of browns and beiges and tans, and it contrasts with the red of her coat that she drowned in, and he keeps seeing a girl about that size in a red coat, Now, some of the weird stuff that happens, like he thinks he sees his wife in Venice when she's actually she got on a flight to go to England.
Yeah, for their son.
Right. And then it turns out, and this is probably the weirdest thing, it turns out he's clairvoyant too.
Yeah.
And he was actually seeing visions of his own death.
His own demise, yeah.
And seeing that...
Her all in black with the sisters, which why are they invited to this thing?
Which they were there. They're the only friends in Venice.
They're the only people in the movie.
And seeing the girl in the red coat, like even back in the early slides, like he sees that image, and it's his clairvoyance trying to warn him.
Yeah, and the clairvoyance was not clairvoyant on at the end.
Well, she was.
It was an actual person.
No, the clairvoyant woman, she tries to it builds up clairvoyance as not like a fixes all problems. It's like it kicks in, and she tries to stop it in a way, but it's too late. The wheels already.
No, I meant the actual person in the red coat is not a clairvoyant vision. It's definitely a real person.
Oh yeah. It's not like an hallucination.
Yeah, so
as some people think throughout the movie. It's a real person who is this tiny woman.
Tiny, dwarfish woman, and she has a meat cleaver.
Yeah,
and she is the killer, and she kills Dollar Solon.
Yeah, she just chops him right in the neck.
And then he starts flowing the red. So
the super red,
yeah, it's very...
Which is a nice way to use that super stage blood that they had back then, especially in Italian.
Now, do you think it was on purpose, or do you think that was the only blood they could get, or did he make it purposely red to match the jacket?
I think
whatever.
Because there's a lot of movies, especially Italian movies, that have that really red stage blood. I think he just made it work.
Yeah,
I think he saw the how red the stage blood is and what that was available with, and just was like, I'm going to use this in this motif.
Yeah, and what I really like about it is it took me off guard, and it kind of culminates things. It doesn't.
It's a long death too.
It's a long
for being chopped
death.
Right in an artery. He squirms for a while, and the editing is really interesting in the movie.
And I apologize for the sound. All of a sudden, there's whenever someone turns on water, it makes this big loud sound. So I apologize ahead of time on that one. But yeah, buy, rent, or skip.
I'm going to say it's a buy. I think it's a really good movie that I think anybody could get into.
Yeah, I say buy as well. I mean, it's a very easy movie to watch. It makes you think. It has a good jump scare at the end. Not jump scare. It has a good ending. They say
it's a shocking ending.
A shocking ending. It could be one of the most shocking horror endings. It's a good drama movie, but it's also a horror movie, and it's also a psychological, a supernatural thriller.
It's really good at depicting grief.
Yes.
In a realistic way. It's just a really, really good movie.
Yeah.
Just go watch it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's not on TV more often.
Yeah, it's a very...
even, I don't mean, TBS or, one of those,
it's
cable channels. I'm surprised it's not on, HBO or
watch
something.
this with Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Donald.
I don't like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, so I'll just watch this. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, fine. So, that's our thoughts on Don't Look Now. What are other Nicholas Roeg movies that you want us to check out in the future? And also, what's your thoughts on Don't Look Now? I almost said Don't Watch Now. So the rest of this month is fan suggestion month since Filmstruck, R.I.P. is officially RIP.
But
if I had alcohol, I'd pour one out for him, but also I don't want to get it on my carpet, so I'm not going to do that. So
and Criterion announced that they're doing their thing in the spring.
Yes.
With the video teaser that they
Which
did.
is March, April, May, it's spring, so we're going to have to so we're not doing many fan suggestions. So we're January, February, it's going to be more of what we already own, what we can easily get access to.
Or what Joe already owns, because I have a bunch.
Yeah, and
I've been saving up for this moment.
and next week we are doing Another recently fan suggested one, Paris, Texas. We're doing Paris, Texas with Harry Dean Stanton.
Also R.I.P.
R.I.P. Yes. So we're definitely.
Was that earlier this year or last year?
I think it was last. I don't even know. Black Panther came out this year.
Yeah.
It felt like 5 years ago, so I don't know. I think he was in the in memoriam for the Oscars.
Yeah.
So maybe. Anyway, we're gonna watch that next week, and I'm not sure we're watching the week after that, but after we already have it kind of planned. So yeah. So thank you for your suggestions, and until next time, I'm Wade,
And I'm Joe.
and we will see you later.